Hello and welcome. I'm the Autistic Modeler. Today, we're going to be digging into the Lil Roman Chariot by AMT. Round 2 was nice enough to send this over for us to review and build. So come on over, let's dig into it. The Autistic Modeler is proud to be partnered with Round 2 Models, the makers of great kits from AMT, MPC, and Polar Lights. Get yours today. All right, well, look at that artwork. Isn't that cool? Lil Roman Chariot. Looks like a Roman soldier hat or helmet. I don't know much about this, I'm not gonna lie, but it looks really cool. Big slicks on there, looks like a Chevrolet engine. Eagle on the radiator. And on the side here, apparently this was a real show car from back in the day by John Bogosian. I believe that's how he's pronounced his name. It's really neat looking. Look at the slicks. Roman Rubber Company and whatnot. And then over here, we got some groovy accessories with the hard hat body with the upholstery. And then Eyes of March. That's kind of a crazy one there. Twin tiller steering. No steering wheel. And then we got like pipes with like the fender running boards. I don't know. And then there's a picture of the back. Pretty neat stuff. Let's look at the plastic. Well, here is the body parts here. This is the, like a C cab here and part of the interior there. I don't know what this circle piece is. We'll find out. Here's part of the body here, and I'm assuming firewall or something. Floor maybe. I don't know. Dashboard that has gauges on it. And then there's our frame right there. Pretty neat. Got spring perches there. And then this is part of the interior. Some kind of like seat or pillow there. Interesting. I don't know much about these. I normally don't build show rod stuff. My good friend Marty does, but I'm not into all these. But we're going to try it and make it look pretty neat. This is like the grill scoop area in the front. Interesting. And then here's our engine right there. It's definitely a Chevrolet engine with an automatic there. Pretty neat. There's a battery, cylinder heads, belt, intake manifold. I'm assuming engine mounts, I guess, here. Front cover with water pump. Pretty neat. And then here's the chrome parts. Here's our wheels. Those are really nice looking. Nice spoke wheels there. And there's one of the rear wheels, and then the rings and the pipes. Steering linkage there. Pretty cool. And then there's our rear axle. There's the other wheel right there. This is our headlight buckets. Some steering linkage. Our engine oil pan, a fan. Valve covers, suspension, radiator, part of the front axle there. Looks like the big pipes for the intake there. I don't know what these are. I'm assuming like rear suspension mounts or something, I guess. I am not familiar with these type of builds, but we're going to build it up. Make it cool. Now this is part of the Roman like helmet piece that goes on the top of the roof. And this is the top of the air filter piece. These go on the headlights. Fuel tank there. Some more pipes here. And I'm assuming like intake parts there. I don't know. We're gonna find out. There's our tiller steering there. Interesting. And then we have different kind of headlight lenses. They come in orange or clear. And then I'm assuming these are the taillights as they're red, like arrows. Interesting. This is crazy stuff. The tires are really cool. You get 2 of these big fat slick ones. You get 2 of those. They are slick. Can't hang on them. Get 2 of those, really cool looking, pad printed. And then you get 2 of these little skinny ones. Really thin for the front. Pretty interesting. Cool stuff. All right. And here's our decal sheet. Right there. Let me flip it around so you read it. nice looking, different variations you can build up. This is different front end views and different things you can do to it. It's pretty cool. And it also includes a mini box, so you can fold that up and display it with your car. So that's pretty cool. Glad they started doing that again. I really liked these when they did this earlier. And then here's our book right here. You begin with the engine, 454 Chevrolet engine. And then there's our wheel assembly and body right there. And then there's our drive shaft and suspension. There's not a lot to this kit, but it looks pretty neat when you get it finished. All of those bracket pieces weren't engine mounts. They were part of the rear suspension. See, they hooked to the suspension pieces there. So I'm learning as you guys learn. This is the first time I've ever seen this kit. And then there's our final assembly there. Pretty interesting looking. There's our fuel tank and our injector stacks. It's just a cool, crazy kit. And we're going to paint ours up and see what we come up with. So stick with me. It's that time again. That's right, final assembly. Let's take a look at it. Well, opening this kit up, I was skeptical at first because I thought, man, this is old. It's going to be fiddly. And I'll tell you what, so far, I've had 0 fit problems with this. It's turning out so cool. All those pipes, everything fit on it just how it's supposed to. Nothing warped, no problems, no fuss, no muss. Check out those wheels. Those look really cool. They turned out really neat. And they got the wire ones in the front. Cool stuff. And then there's our Eyes of March. I went ahead and used a blue Sharpie because it went with the blue paint job. I thought that was pretty cool. And there's our shield for the front. And our fuel tank right there. Our arrow taillights right here. Rear axle and some badge there for something. And then there's our Roman Chariot helmet part that goes on there. It's looking good so far. When we come back, it'll be all finished. So stick with me. Well, here it is. The Roman Chariot by AMT. This was a really cool build. I had no trouble building this. Everything went together perfectly. I was really reluctant at first when I opened it. I thought, man, this is going to be fiddly with that front suspension and stuff. Everything went together just like it's supposed to. I didn't have any trouble. Now, during final assembly, I did have a rear wheel that split when I put the metal axle rod in it. So the only thing I suggest, you use a little hand drill and drill it out a little bit to enlarge the hole. So I did that with the other side. It went right together, and I had no trouble with the wheels. I did make a mistake with the kit, and you probably wouldn't even notice until I told you. The headlights has this piece that goes all the way across here, and it was supposed to be installed underneath those spring perches. I already installed everything else, so I just put it on top. It doesn't look that bad, but be sure to put yours underneath, is how the instructions say. I did make a mistake. It wasn't the kit's fault. It was my fault for not following the instructions more closely. But it went together great. Like I said, no trouble. It came with this cool little box, which is really neat. It's got really neat artwork. It could be a good first kit. It went together that well. I was really surprised being a show rod car, because a lot of these sometimes are fiddly, but it went together fabulous. I can't say that enough. And I appreciate Round 2 sending it over for us to have a full build and review. And as always, I'm the Autistic Modeler. Happy modeling.